Hello, 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 hello. We're back with another episode of Now Recording, and today we're going to look at a couple of records I picked up a week ago at Newbury Comics. Went there for a little bit of shopping. You might hear the Red Sox game on in the background here a little bit. They just took a one-run lead, so things look good for them at the moment. But anyway. I went over to Newbury Comics last week and picked up a couple of things. I keep a big shopping list of things that I am interested in and that I want to pick up. And so this in particular right here is a new album by David Bazan. David Bazan was in a band called Pedro the Lion for a long time. They had a bunch of albums, and then he went off on his own. In the probably the mid 2000s, and this is his third full-length record under his own name, and then there was an EP. They're all terrific, really. The EP is called Fewer Moving Parts. There's like 5 songs on that. The first full-length was called Curse Your Branches, and then the last record that carried the David Bazan name was from 5 years ago. It was called Strange Negotiations, which is a great album as well. And since then, I believe I think that Pedro the Lion got together. That last Strange Negotiations album came out in 2011, so 5 years have passed since these two albums. This one right in front of us. He's been doing other things. I know he has a side project called Headphones as well, which I guess this is kind of like. I actually have never heard Headphones, and I'd like to because everything else he's done is great. So that's something that maybe I can add to the list as well. But anyway, this album is called Blanco. It has a nice little gatefold, not like too much to it. But it's always nice when you see that, just to give you something else to kind of sink your teeth into. It adds to the aesthetic of the record. It's fun to just look at this stuff while you're listening to it. So let me see here. All right, so this is unique in that this came with a download code, so I can download the songs on my computer. But it's actually it's printed on the label itself. So it is not a card like that I think I've showed with the Courtney Barnett record, which is in the I think the second video. It actually came with a little almost like a business card that had a code on it, and go ahead and take this to whateverrecords.com and download. This actually, the code is printed on the sleeve on the other side of this. So I'll just leave, I haven't downloaded it yet, so I'll just leave this side the way it is. It came in nice white vinyl, and I think this is the standard release. I don't know that this came out in just a black release. Maybe it did, but it wasn't marked as special edition or anything like that. So, but that's always cool. I always like colored vinyl. When I was there at Newbury Comics, they had, and I've talked about this a couple times, but they had a Meat Puppets record, something that's been on my list for a while now. I mentioned that in, I think, the Courtney Barnett video as well, that I really want to pick up. And Newbury Comics actually it's really cool that chain of stores has very unique. I think they must have deals with either record labels or the artists or something, but they do a lot of exclusive colored vinyl re-releases, and they do them all the time, and a lot of them are really cool. I have a bunch of them. The Lonesome Crowded West album by Modest Mouse, which I mentioned in the last video when I was talking about Black Star in the collection video that I just did. How that was on the short list of the albums I had to get on vinyl, just my favorite albums of all time. And Lonesome Crowded West by Modest Mouse was on that list for a long time. And they re-released it, in black vinyl, but then Newbury Comics had this exclusive, purple and blue vinyl. And it doesn't change the way the music sounds. It doesn't change any of that. It's just cool. That's all. So, I think that's really great. Newbury Comics does a lot of that. But Newbury Comics had a Meat Puppets 2 is the album, and I've seen it on Amazon for like $15, just black, just normal. And on Newbury at Newbury Comics, they had a copy. It was a limited edition, one of those colored re-releases, of only 500 printed, so it's cool. But it was like, I forget what color, or whatever, it doesn't matter. But it was $37, and it's like I could get 2 albums. It's just I couldn't justify that, especially when I knew I could go on Amazon and get it for $15. So what I'm hoping is that, considering it's 1 of 500 and they still have copies. Sorry, I know this looks stupid. I'm putting the sleeve back in. I'm hoping the price will drop on it. They'll discount it at some point. I'll be able to pick it up. Anyway, forget about that. Let's go back to the record. The record is very good. I listened to this whole thing a couple times over. This sounds David Bazan's other albums. He usually get a little bit loud, not like too heavy or anything like that, but he a lot of nice riffs, like heavy riffs. A lot of sentimentality on these. He's just a really, really good songwriter. But this is different. This is more electronic than some of the other albums that I just mentioned. It's different. I like that he's doing that and trying something new, going in a little bit of a different direction. And I guess that side project of his headphones is a lot like what he's done here. But this is really great. The second half, I really liked a lot of the songs on it, but the second half, starting with Teardrops, these songs really stuck out to me. Little Landslide, Little Motor, Someone Else's Bet. These are all very good songs. So I really like this album. I'm going to give it a few more spins, but he's done no wrong at this point. So I would highly recommend checking this out. So that is David Bazan's Blanco. And I bought one more album too. Not buying that Meat Puppets record allowed me to buy 2 albums instead of 1. So I also bought Jay Dilla's Ruff Draft. So a couple things about picking this up. So on my shopping list, I just had put, I keep a lot of things on my shopping list, things I'd like to check out. I listened to a song or two from this before I bought it, but it's kind of like what people used to do. You used to maybe hear a song by someone on the radio and go check it out, buy the CD or whatever. And I do a lot of that stuff. I just like to hear new things. And if I like them, great, they kind of get added to the pantheon. And usually I ended up liking them because I listen to a song or two and I like them, or they're recommended by someone that I trust, or what have you. So usually I end up liking what I buy. And of course there are some misses. I bought things that I'm like, maybe I don't really like that too much, and I might not revisit it. And that's fine. You live and learn. But it's fun. This is what's fun about not just collecting records, but listening to music is just trying to expose yourself to new stuff. And listening to new stuff. And I keep this list of all these new things that I want to hear, or things that I know a little bit about but not much, and I'm always on the lookout for those things. So Jay Dilla was on that. Jay Dilla is really, I gotta be honest, so people out there might know more about him, and I apologize if I'm getting this wrong, but I believe he's basically a record, like a producer, and he kind of was like a DJ. I think he, raps a little bit, but it's almost like Jay Dilla creates the beats and everything, and then he has other people rap on this over the beats. So it's a little bit different than your normal rap album, where it's Big L's album and Big L's the guy rapping over the whole thing. This is a little bit different than that. Jay Dilla's more kind of the brains behind the operation, the musician, and then he has other rappers come in. If I'm wrong about that, please let me know. I'm happy to to get it straight. But let me talk about why I came to buy this one. He has a bunch of stuff out, and he actually, by the way, just a little bit of background about Jay Dilla from what I know. Just a wildly successful record producer, considered a genius in terms of coming up with the beats and stuff like that. And he had some disease. He died in, oh man, I'm going to get this wrong. I want to say it's 2009. It might be a little bit earlier than that. But he passed away at a young age. I think he was in his early 30s. So he had this was released. That Ruff Draft was an EP that he released while still alive, and then they re-released it in this format and added new tracks and new songs and stuff like that to kind of flesh it out into a full-length album. So this was, I believe, released posthumously. This particular release. He has a bunch of albums that are, a lot of them are compilations. There aren't too many like actual studio recordings that would be considered an album. There are a couple, and I'm going to investigate them at this point now because I love this. But how did I get to Ruff Draft? Why would I buy this one other than just kind of a shot in the dark? On YouTube, I follow, there's a record store out in California, or a chain, I think, called Amoeba Records. It's a huge record store. And so they have a YouTube channel, and they have people, musicians, who, they have a feature called "What's in My Bag." I actually mentioned this on the Courtney Barnett. I was talking about Courtney Barnett in one of the earlier videos, and she was on it, and that's how I heard about the Meat Puppets. Well, Flea from the Red Hot Chili Peppers was on it, and he talked about this album, and he was, I don't know, he said he was like hiking through Big Sur by himself and crying listening to this album on headphones, and he got emotional. He was like crying talking about it on the video, which, I guess is it might be a little much, but it made me think, well, geez, if this guy's crying about this album, maybe I should take a listen to it. So I listened to one of the songs on YouTube. The Money is the song that I just kind of happened upon. Love it. So I was like, all right, cool. So I decided to check it out. So this might give the years. Oh, 2007, right? That's when this version was released. It's just it's a rap album, but a lot of instrumental, a lot of tracks that are just kind of the beats. Sorry for the camera work there. Just taking these out. And the beats are, it's just very imaginative stuff. It's just the whole thing kind of flows together very nicely. It's two records. This is only one-sided. So you see the Alabama Shakes album Sound and Color was like that as well, if you recall that from one of the collection videos. You see that from time to time when they can't fit it all on two. This actually is unlike, I showed you the Big Al album where it was 4 sides and you had to change it after like 8 minutes. These sides are actually decent length because I've listened to this maybe 3 times already all the way through. So yeah, just another kind of thing that I've discovered. I love this record. This is awesome. So I'm looking forward to hearing more stuff from J Dilla, and that's going to remain on my shopping list as something else to pick up. So one of the stories I wanted to relay before wrapping up this video here. We haven't gotten to these videos in the collection either, but I'm a huge fan of Mark Kozelek from Sun Kill Moon is basically just him, but he releases music under that name. Had been in the band Red House Painters, basically as the brains behind that band. So the vinyl for Mark Kozelek and any of those monikers is hard to come across. You don't see it too much. A lot of it's out of print. And he has a new album out called with a metal band called Jesu or Jesu. It's basically the founder of Godflesh, which was an industrial metal band. It went on to form this other band called Jesu, and so there's a split. There's an album that they did together, and it just came out recently. So I was on my at work, and I just went on Twitter, and I saw a tweet from Newbury Comics that said, we have 300 of these that we're going to release in some crazy color. Pre-order now. And I was at work and something came up and I couldn't do it right then and there. And I remembered when I got home and I went online and tried to do it and they were sold out. And it's like, God. So that will probably be impossible to find at this point. Who knows? Maybe the stores will get a few to stock on their own, and maybe I'll get lucky. But just one of the things that kind of sucks. But it's also kind of fun that you can do stuff like with records. You can do like pre-orders and stuff like that, and it's kind of fun to do stuff like that too. So Anyway, David Bazan and Jay Dilla are the two pickups from this week, and I'm sure I'll see you soon with more. Thanks.